Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
With Azucena and Jorge in the panel, I said, we might as well just do it in Spanish, talk about DEI. Well, hello, everybody. And before I get started, wanted to just extend a thank you to Andrew and Sinclair and the whole team at National Links Trust for including me and including this important topic. I was sort of poached, as I say, by Andrew this summer. The LPGA was hosting an event here at East Potomac, actually, and I was like in the middle of picking up bow flags in the middle of a storm and like ruffling through boxes. And he's like, "Hey, we have a conference. You think I was like, "Can you email me in August?" And then here we are. So really, really excited about being here with everybody and with this amazing group of individuals. They're really the experts. I'm just here to ask the questions. So with us here today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a quick blurb about everybody, and then I'm going to ask them to share their background for 30 seconds and their municipal golf story, because I think it's super important to know why we're here. And I'm a product of municipal golf. I actually grew up in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico, really, really small town on the northwest tip of the island that used to be an Air Force base back in the 1950s and 60s. So if you know what came with Air Force bases, it was usually an airport and a golf course, because they wanted soldiers to be able to play. So grew up playing golf in a Muni course and know really the positive impact it can have on people and the community that it surrounds. So there's a fundamental question that's being asked for us. There's actually two, so it's going to be about a twofold panel. The first question for us was whether hosting fundraising golf tournaments for local nonprofits or initiating programs to introduce underrepresented communities to golf or municipal golf can have a profound impact on its community. So we'll probably get started there, but before we do, let me share a little bit about these wonderful people here with me. So Azucena Maldonado, she is the founder of the Latina Golfers Association. She let me in on a little tidbit that they actually turned 15 this year. So that's awesome. Brittny Lott is an LPGA Class A professional. She's also the founder of My Vision Golf. And through her work in her nonprofit, she really helps youth fulfill their dreams. And last but not least, Jorge, right here. So Jorge is a retired PGA golf professional who worked with municipal golf for 38 years. He actually told me that he first started working there in 1984, the year that I was born. So, we have that connection now. But for 18 years, he was the senior director for the Los Angeles County Municipal Golf System, which is one of the largest in the United States. So Jorge, why don't we kick it off with you if you want to tell us a little bit about your background and your story.
Thanks, Laura. You guys hear me? First of all, this doesn't count against my 30 seconds. Is Jay Karen in the room? Jay, there's been a lot of data thrown around, and yesterday we got the number that 20% of golfers are women. Well, looking at this panel, I think that number's off a little. All right, that didn't go over very well. Okay, how about this one? I get one mic. Azucena and Brittny get 3 mics, so okay.
That's equity.
Enough of that. Here we go.
That's an action.
Here we go with the 30 seconds. Yeah, I'm a product of municipal golf. If not for a municipal golf course, I would not be sitting here today. I love municipal golf. In 1966, my parents moved into a home across the street from an LA County park. That park had a fence around it. And I, as a little kid, would go up to the fence and go like this, and I would look in and there were people recreating. I wanted some of that action. I cut a hole in the fence. I stepped inside. No more fence. It was my hello world moment. That was the Lakewood Golf Course. It was a safe space. It gave me instant confidence. I learned to fish on the lake on that golf course, but the defining moment was when I saw golfers attempting to retrieve golf balls. At 6 or 7 years old, I said, those golf balls have value. I began diving the lakes. I would take the golf balls home. I would wash them. I would grade them. I would place them in egg cartons, and I would spray them with lacquer. and I would sell them on the 13th tee. I expanded my business to include fresh lemonade, which was Kool-Aid, and Springfield soda. By 8 years old, I kid you not, I was a bona fide business person. While I was doing this, I was sitting there watching golfers tee off, and flight fascinated me. The ball would go up and it would spin to the right and it would spin to the left, and some were high and some were low. And I saw people of every size, demographic, shape, etc., playing the game of golf. I went and got a set of junior clubs. No, I got a set of women's clubs, Joanne Prentice irons, and I joined a couple of local junior golf clubs at municipal golf courses, and the rest is history. So thank you, Municipal Golf, and also thank you to the National Links Trust for having me. I'm not an expert. This has been a wonderful learning experience, and it's great that we get to share so many ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. Brittny.
I agree with that last statement and wish I had as cool of a story as you. However, I did also start in the municipal golf space. I started kind of late, in my opinion, at the age of 12, but not too late. I admittedly stuck with golf primarily due to a company that makes a certain item called Snickers and Gatorade, and the possibility of driving a golf cart kept me in golf for many years. I don't know if it was happenstance, met at the driving range with my dad by a college coach who asked, did I have a golf scholarship yet? And I was still a young teenager. And if you're a parent like me, that was my calling for the rest of my life. I was going to play golf to ensure that I got into school for free. Thank God that happened. Then my dad ended up remarrying a woman that he found on the driving range. So at that point, I was just locked into golf, and there was nothing else I was going to do in life. And here I am, thankfully. So yes.
That's great.
Mhm.
Well, I don't have a sexy golf story like that. I was not raised in golf or surrounded by golf. I never knew about golf. I never saw a golf course, a golf club, people that played golf either until I moved to California, to Southern California, where you can play golf every single day. But I moved there, and 2 weeks into my stay in California, this man asked me out on a date. And he said, I'm going to take you to the golf course. And he bought me a putter, and we were putting, and I fell in love with golf. I fell in love with golf, and I said, I can do this. Do this. This guy, Miguel Fernandez, was a single-digit handicap person, and he dedicated 3 years of his life. He sacrificed his golf game to teach me how to play golf. So for 3 years, he would take me to the golf course literally 3 times a week to the Municipal par 3 golf course. And that's where I learned how to play golf. I eventually graduated to an executive course, then a 18-hole golf course. That took a little bit of time to graduate to that before he would even let me get on an 18-hole golf course. So that I had an immersion in golf, but it was because of municipal golf that I learned how to play golf. And shifting how I started the Latina Golfers Association 15 years ago is that I was new to California, but I have always been very involved in the Latino space, and people started asking me to go to charity golf tournaments. I said, okay, I've been playing for 3 years. I think I could do this. And I went. The first one, I was in complete awe. I was like, this is amazing. I had only ever played recreational golf with his foursome. That was it. That was my entire knowledge of golf. And then all of a sudden, I'm seeing all these people, all of these executives and CEOs and entrepreneurs and elected officials playing golf. And they were all high-fiving me, kind of new to Los Angeles, and saying, hey, Azucena, we got a foursome next week. You want to come play with us? I was like, whoa, I'm getting to meet these people that it would have taken me 6 months, a year as a volunteer on some committee to be able to meet them and know them like that. And yet we played golf once and they know me and they're inviting me to join them in golf. And finally, after a few of those, I said, wow, where are all the ladies? They would be at these tournaments, like a field of 100+ men, and maybe 3 ladies, maybe 4. And at that point, I was like, okay, this what they say about golf is true. It is a boys' club. They don't want us here. You know, why is it like that? And I started asking, I was bold and I said, okay, where are the women? Why are there no women playing? I was so naive about golf that I didn't even know women weren't playing golf. I mean, I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the golf industry. And then finally they said, well, why don't you invite your friends to come play? And I was like, oop, I don't have any girlfriends that play golf. So I rented a banquet room at a municipal golf course. And I just, this was 15 years ago, so social media wasn't what it is today. And I just started emailing my network of Latinas, and we had 94 women show up at our very first event. And we didn't have a golf clinic, no golf outing, just let's learn how to play golf. However, Lisette Salas was in college. And I reached out to her family and I said, hey, can we honor your family and Lisette? And they said, okay, that was it. Nothing about golf really, other than let's meet this young Latina that's learning how to play golf. 94 ladies showed up and their story was all the same. I've always wanted to play. I don't know anybody that plays and I don't know how to get into the game. I'm intimidated. So that's all it took. That was 94 ladies 15 years ago, March 11th. And so started Latina Golfers Association, and now we're over 3,000 members in Los Angeles County alone. We're regional. So it's been a beautiful journey.
Oh, thank you for sharing. I loved all of your stories and thank you so much for sharing. So Jorge, we'll kick it off with you. And, you know, I wanted to ask, you know, what can municipal forces do to be more intentional about promoting their facilities as event spaces? And I ask this because, you know, we had the fundamental question of fundraisers, and I know there are some opportunities and challenges to hosting events at municipal courses. So with your background, I wanted to kick it off there.
Thanks, Laura. So my answer may be a little different, but it's from real life experience. So about 2016 or so, Azucena penned an article for the Southern California PGA, and she made a comment in there that it had a profound impact on me. And she was talking about golf instruction. And she was talking about how golf instructors are teaching people from their world, from their point of view, from their background. Their socioeconomic background, their athletic background. Many golf professionals have been in the game since they were 3 years old, and they're trying to teach one of Azucena's members of the game of golf from their world. And I really took that to heart, that, you know, wow, we need to, you know, view things more through the optics of others, not from our optics. So immediately thereafter, at the County of Los Angeles, we began hosting non-golf community events at our clubhouses. This is at the request of an elected official who told us our golf courses were underutilized. We presented all the data that golf courses were not underutilized. Then she came back, very powerful woman, and said, well, your clubhouses are underutilized. And I said, you are correct about that. So we began hosting non-golf community events, the ones that most of us have done, the movie nights, Easter egg hunts, you know, some other ones. And I was shocked. I was dumbfounded at the comments that we were receiving from the attendees. You would think I'm making this up. I'm not. We would hear, I've lived 4 blocks away for 4 years and didn't know this place was public. You know, it's been mentioned a lot. I'm not making that up. I've lived 6 blocks away for 12 years and didn't know you had a restaurant, didn't know you had a junior program, these types of comments. So that gave us an opportunity to ask, why? Where is this coming from? So while we live in a very digital world, at the County of Los Angeles, we began studying the perimeter of golf properties because these people were mentioning that they were driving by. And what instantly came on was that in the county, and I'll name 6 of them off real quickly, wonderful, busy municipal facilities. One of them were just up the street from where Damon grew up. But we have El Dorado Park Golf Course, where Vince won the 2010 Long Beach Open. We have Skylinks, we have Lakewood, we have Rio Hondo, we have Lakewood, where I grew up and managed for many, many years, and we have Knollwood Golf Course. All of these golf courses, they're located on major streets. They have very tall fences. Okay, we need fences to keep golf balls from going out and to keep people from coming in, to keep the community safe and to keep vandals off the golf course. Bushes, you fly by at 50 miles an hour. And all of these golf courses that I mentioned, they have clubhouses and parking lots that are up against the street. And there is zero visibility, for those of you who know those golf courses, of what's going on behind those trees, bushes, parking lots, and clubhouses. We regularly have over 400 people on these properties between our golf courses, our practice facilities, our banquet rooms. And the public sees none. They see a lot of cars, but they don't know what's going on. And then you take a closer look at our signage, and I really encourage all of you, when you go back to your hometowns, you're going to see this instantly. As my friend Craig Kessler says, we have a street sign that says Lakewood Country Club in letters this big, open to the public in letters this big. Okay, so it's very granular, but we started saying, you know, we do not have a welcoming curb appeal. Azucena has shared that with me as well. Okay, well, there's nothing we can do about clubhouses and parking lots. They are where they are, but you know, we can start by drastically improving our signage to much better promote our non-golf community events. I have a couple of examples here. Actually, Laura, can you go to the Monarchs in the Rough habitat? So this is coincidentally, 2 weeks ago, I played this golf course, Sterling Hills Golf Course, and by complete and total coincidence, I got paired with Chris here, and she heads a foundation, and through a grant through the Audubon Society, she has created monarch butterfly habitats on this facility inside of the golf course. She was very, very proud of it. It was really cool playing golf with her. And we're cruising along and she's going, oh, look at this, look at that. And she'd show me this sign. And I said, Chris, this is great, but you're just telling it to just a few golfers and most of them aren't seeing it. I said, we need to get this word out, you know, to the public. So I think, is there another sign that says, another slide that says Sterling Hills?
I think there was, but I don't know about it.
So anyways, so the front sign to Sterling Hills is this big block sign that says Sterling Hills Golf Club, which basically is just telling you you've arrived at a place that your GPS told you you were about to arrive to. And that's all it said. I said, you need to, that thing on the left, that sign on the left, I said, you need to put that up, an 8 by 10 foot sign on at the front of this facility, letting the public know the 90% who do not play golf you know, really what's going on behind the clubhouse besides the playing of golf. So it's kind of a long answer for I think we really I think you will all see it when you return to your hometowns. We really need to make our curb appeal more appealing and more inviting, primarily through signage. And if some of you in your careers will have the opportunity to rebuild clubhouses, you know, I know that's not often. Give as much thought to where that clubhouse is located than to, you know, to the footprint of the clubhouse. Make sure that it's located in a way to where people driving by can see through. But place the practice putting green and the practice pitching green right up against the road, because those are usually heavily used, and people driving by can see that there is activity within that property.
No, thank you for sharing, Jorge. You know, curb appeal is so important. I think municipal golf, sometimes we don't do a great job at really putting that signage, but these are some good examples that you send of some that are the better ones and show the success. So Azucena, I wanted to follow up with you and keeping in the theme of events and fundraisers. You know, can you talk to us about how instrumental municipal golf has been to your organization, Latina Golfers, not just in recruiting, but also in fundraising?
Critical. I mean, we can't do what we do Latina Golfers Association would not exist if it was not for municipal golf courses. So why? Yes, we have done events at private courses and the other public kind of courses that aren't municipal, but for some reason, when we deal with the municipal courses, of course, they're headed, a lot of them, hopefully by individuals like Jorge. I'm so sad he retired. But anyway, so they partner with us. They're more willing to partner with us. And when I say, if you look here, so this was a fashion show that we did at a golf course, and we had almost 300 women there. I would say that probably, and of course, Lisette Salas, LPGA Tour player, was our guest. But I would say, let's say we had 300 women there, maybe 200 had never played golf before. So that's a big thing that we do. I'm shifting a little bit, but since you showed the slide, it was a fundraising event for us, but we don't limit it to only golfers. We want everybody to come to the golf course, and we give them an excuse to come to the golf course. So what woman doesn't want to come to a fashion show? This is a golf fashion show. They all came, we modeled, and they said, wow, they got to meet our golfers. And so that intrigued them, like, okay, wow, if she can do it, so can I. And so that's how we invite them. We do events that are not necessarily golf kind of events, and they come to networking events. We just happen to have them on the golf course. So because like some of the other ones that we do, I don't know if you have another slide, but we do fiestas on the golf course. So we, for years, have been doing, yeah, there you go. So for years, we will use the big driving range at a golf course where we'll have a taco bar. We will have a DJ. We'll have all kinds of fun vendors and neat things like that. And we have golf coaches, enough golf coaches, and we invite non-golfers and our golfers. We'll have a 9-hole round of golf, but we invite, there might be 200 women there. 100 of them might play golf, and 200 of them are there for the enjoyment. And because we have enough golf coaches, they might, be excited enough and go try to swing some golf balls or golf clubs to hit the golf balls. So we do all kinds of events like that. Now, it's a municipal golf course that says, yes, we'll experiment with you. We will try this out with you, and they're great success. It's a win-win for everybody. It's a fundraiser for us. The municipal course makes money too. Food and beverage makes money. It's a win-win for everybody. But our relationships with municipal golf courses, both 9-hole and 18-hole golf courses, it's critical for our survival. And in terms of programming, forget it. I mean, that's where we do our programming. They open their doors for us to do that, but in fundraising and that partnership, it's critical.
Yeah, no, and what you mentioned about bringing the non-golfers in, right? I think that's been an overarching theme, of this conference. So that's a great way of hosting.
And they all join.
Yes.
My next series of golf lessons is going to be full because of what they see there.
Awesome. Well, Brittny, but before we talk about what you do to engage predominantly, youth in the African-American space at municipal courses, I want to talk about, because you were part of our initial event in Atlanta, the Killer View Legacy Benefit. And for those of you who don't know, that event is a fundraiser that the LPGA Tour hosts in partnership with KPMG and Mariah Stackhouse. We hosted the Monday after the KPMG Women's PGA. So last year we hosted in Atlanta. This year we hosted across the street at East Potomac, and we partnered with the National Links Trust. But when we partnered with Renee on this, Renee said, and I'm talking about Renee Powell, Renee said, we really want you to do this event at a municipal course. Like, my family is all about municipal golf, like, how important it is to me. So, as much as we would have loved to have hosted it at the Atlanta Country Club or at Congressional, we've gone the other route, and it's been phenomenal. I have a picture here, but I also have a video at the end that I want to share with everybody. It's a really cool event. It's a 9-hole scramble we do a couple of fun different formats on every hole, and we actually bring LPGA Tour players, since they're here for the tournament. Mariah usually asks her friends from the tour to come and play. We enlist about 12 of them. We put one on each hole. They're each paired with a girls golf member, and so everybody in the pro-am gets to play with all the players and a junior golfer. So, we've brought this huge event to a municipal course. We brought LPGA Tour players. We bring a full operation, because when we did it at East Potomac, we had to bring a tent, and so it is, and many times a lot of work, but it's really worth it. So I wanted to put that out there, because this is the possibility of the types of events that could be hosted. And now next year we're going to New Jersey. The KPMG Women's PGA is at Baltusrol. That's a really hard word for me to pronounce, but I think I got it. And so we're looking for a course. We're really looking forward to partnering with another public course. But can you talk a little bit about the experience in Atlanta at Bobby Jones, because you had your girls come as well?
Yeah, no, that Clearview Legacy event was really game changing in a lot of ways in Atlanta. I'm one of many site directors in the Atlanta area, speaking about girls golf. And what that did was it really afforded all of us to come together, right? Atlanta is a big city. We're all spread apart. We're all doing good things, but that really united us in many ways, and it allowed our girls to interact with one another. It allowed our girls to be able to see professionals that were tangible, that they could ask questions to. And, just to be quite honest, when you're talking about moving the needle forward as far as golf is concerned and making golf more diverse, not just on a grassroots level, but ultimately on a professional level, right? It was a really big deal for some of the girls in our community to be able to go out and play with professional golfers that are actually on tour, some of which were able to brag, hey, I hit my ball further than a tour player. But that's a big deal, right? Because as small as that may seem, that's hope for that person. That's hope for that young girl that says, hey, I can maybe really do this. That it always takes that spark moment to let them know that I really should keep going forward and continuing in this sport. So when we talk about retention, there's a lot of ways to do that, but that was a way for those girls. And not only that, but it helped. Even after that event was over, a lot of us as site directors stayed connected, and we still support one another. And that's one thing I just personally am passionate about. I know we all have birthed our own babies, but let somebody else rock your baby if you're tired. Let somebody else help you take care of your children. I'm not going to steal your child. We need to work together because there is a bigger cause at hand. And I'm really thankful that that event actually caused that to happen within the Atlanta area, and we're still working together, which is a beautiful thing.
Well, thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. And in terms of giving back to the local community, I mean, we gave back to Renee. We've been able to raise over $400,000 the last 2 years that go directly back to Clearview Golf Club, right? And in her capital campaign, where she's building a learning center, but we're actually also leaving funds in the community, right? Like we donated back to Craig's program, Golf My Future My Game. We partnered with City Swing and Tari Kosh. We partnered with National Links Trust. We were able to do a recognition for the Western States Golf Association for a Caddy Hall of Fame. So it was a full community effort. We hosted a luncheon. We were able from our end, we were able to sell tables. It was very easy. So just to put it out there as an idea of what it could be. So to stay with you, Brittny, you lead a successful business in Atlanta with My Vision Golf at multiple municipal facilities, specifically junior golf, PGA Junior League, girls golf, and First Tee for predominantly African-American youth and adults. So how have you been able to recruit and retain the customer base?
Okay, well, a lot of ways, right? Because there's not just one way. But starting off with First Tee, I did start in First Tee, and I think that was really helpful. I actually worked at the First Tee of Eastlake for 10 years. And one of the beautiful things about the First Tee of Eastlake, we were directly across from a charter school, which was Drew Charter School. And so one thing that we did is that we actually had a partnership with that school, in that just like you would have an elective that would be art or, PE, golf was an elective. So I had classes that I taught all day. And so I was very integrated into the community. The kids knew me. Some of them played golf because they liked me, more than they actually cared about golf. They wanted to hang out with Coach Lott. But that matters, relationships matter. So going back to your point, I just think in every aspect that I've been able to reach out, it's been about having good relationships. I don't look at kids as kids. I look at kids as clients, and their opinion matters. And I just think having that kind of respect for them and treating them like voices that matter in our future has really done me well. So the first T has definitely helped. And then also I have a daughter who, happy and sad to say, is better than me at golf now. And just being able to go into spaces that I did not go to. So I did not start off playing on local tours. I didn't know what US Kids was. I didn't even know what First Tee was when I was growing up. I kind of did strict municipal camps and things of that nature. And thankfully it worked out. And I had mentors that helped. But now I'm able to get into spaces with, you know, US Kids Golf, Under Armour Tour, and all these different tours. And I'm meeting people. And I'm learning that girls want community regardless of race and all kinds of diverse backgrounds. It doesn't matter. I get all kinds of parents because the relationships matter, and girls love a sense of community. And dads appreciate me too, because a lot of girls want to check out, and I understand what that's like, and I help them out in that area. So just being able to have relationships. I do have phone calls after I've taught classes. I'm talking on the weekends to parents. I'm helping to consult in many ways. But you know, if that's what it takes, that's what I do. And thankfully it's worked out. And you know, I'm growing. So.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and if anybody, if you've been to Charlie Yates, you can actually go from the golf course to the school in a little golf cart, and it's a lot of fun. I've done the whole Drew Charter School, Charlie Yates. You're just driving around in like a little tiny city. So it's awesome. Everything that's happening over there at East Lake. But before we move on to the equitable society piece, Jorge, anything you want to add in terms of the fundraising, alternative programming? I know, you know, we've talked about that. I know that, and we, during our prep calls, we talk a little bit about the challenges, right? And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention that in municipal golf, many times there's contractual obligations, right? And there's staff that may not be as motivated, right? So can you talk a little bit about that and perhaps overcoming challenges?
Yeah, so the County of Los Angeles golf system, it's 20 golf courses, and all of the golf courses are maintained and operated under long-term lease agreements with third parties. And you all can understand this. A lot of the operators, you know, were not motivated to, you know, host community events. A lot of operators, you know, wanted to measure the success of events that really don't need an immediate measurement. It's the right thing to do. It is growing the game. Most importantly, it is serving communities. So what we have done starting since 2012, and with the help of Azucena and Craig, is we tried the pretty please, and it didn't always work. Some did, some didn't. But we have now written it into the contracts. I mean, we had to wait for contracts to expire, and we have inserted significant requirements, for serving the community in various different ways. And I would like to give a shout out to the Director of Parks and Recreation, LA County's Parks and Rec, Norma Garcia, who took a significant financial hit because she knew by everything that we were requiring that we were going to receive less rent. So there was a commitment. The elected officials actually, believe it or not, liked it, even though sure they like to see the revenue. They understood it. So we went from the challenge was operators not having an appetite to offer programs that didn't drive revenue, or they couldn't measure.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing that, because there's always challenges, right? You know, we do all these big events and everything, but I think it's important to point those out. That way we can continue getting better. You know, so the second part, you know, for the next 10 minutes or so, I wanted to talk about the second question that was posed to this community impact panel. And it is, how can municipal golf serve as a means to build a more just and equitable society, right? And, you know, we've talked about this and with other groups earlier today and yesterday, but Brittny, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned something, you know, you said people want to play golf, That's no question. They just a lot of times don't know how or where to go. Can you touch on your experience there?
Yes, so I surprisingly get so many requests from men to be their golf instructor. I don't teach men, sorry. I know I don't. I got rid of that after year one. Got some weird stuff going on and I was like, all right, I'm out. But I mean, after you called me at Publix at the grocery store 3 times, just ask me what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, this is weird. My husband agreed. But yeah, but I get it because a lot of them want, they requested not for any weird reason, but because they like the fact that I don't project my way, or I come off with a more acceptable personality. They think I give a better perspective or a different perspective. I don't want to say better, but different perspective. So I get a lot of men that make requests. I get a lot of women that make requests because they find somebody they can identify with. I get a lot of young girls to make requests. I get kids in general to make requests because I actually try to stay in the kids' spaces and make sure that my clothing looks like something that, you know, makes me cool or whatever, you know, makes me relevant to kids. But, you know, little stuff like that matters, you know. And I get a lot of corporations, the Cab Chamber of Commerce, they reach out and ask questions, a lot of attorney groups, because everybody's playing golf tournaments. Everybody has those charitable events or something that they have to do, but they don't know exactly who to go to. They walk into the clubhouse, they don't know who the professional is, or do you have a professional, or how do I do this? It's always that. But when you are in the community a lot, people are able to have conversations and then find that you're the resource that they needed the whole time. So I'm just really big on relationships and being in the community overall. And even if I'm not in every space, knowing people that are in different spaces and just being able to be accessible and being someone that you can, you know, be an advocate for golf, period. And I just think that has been very important and has served me well, because I found that a lot of people do want to play golf. They do want to know what's on the other side of the fence. They do want to experience what, you know, you said you wanted to experience as a young person, but they just don't know how. And I just think all of us have the opportunity to be golf evangelists. We can go out there and say, it's a safe place, it's a safe space, and this is the best way to get in it. And I think we just got to continue to advance on those opportunities.
I want to chime in on that because
for it.
I will just tell you what the Latina Golfers Association is. What we do is empower women by teaching them how to leverage golf as a business tool. That's what we do. And for girls, we primarily are an adult women group. However, we do junior golf programming. And for them, we feel that golf is a fair way to a higher education. What I like to say is that golf in our community is not a lifestyle. It is a lifeline. It can make a difference in somebody's life if they are just introduced to the game. But in terms of us wanting to play golf, we want to play golf. We had 94 women at my very first event. Do you remember those days, you know, when they were saying golf is dying, you know, nobody's playing golf, nobody wants to play? That wasn't our case. That was not my case. I'm talking, we started in 2008. We could never have enough golf lessons to fill the classes. These women wanted to learn, and what they loved is that our approach to golf was from my lens, which was somebody that did not grow up with golf. I knew nothing about golf. I knew nothing about the golf industry. What I did know was my community. I know women. I know what we want. I know how I've been in the Latino space my entire adult life. I know how to do outreach to my community. So I think what's happened in the golf industry, at least then, is that golf for so many years was just there. Your PGA pros were just there, and you just expected people to come to you. The people that took lessons would come to you. Well, that's not how it worked. So if I had never been introduced to golf the way I was, why would I ever go to a golf course? I would have absolutely no reason to ever step foot on a golf course. So what we do, our strategy is to bring them in. And I don't just create the event. I have to go to the luncheons, to the networking events. I have to go to where they are and say, hey, this could be for you. Join us, join us, join us. It's a networking event. It just happens to be at a golf course. And then we bring them in. So you have to, golf courses and golf PGA pros need to not look at things like golfers or like those people that have been in there forever, because that's not going to reach new people, that 90%. We have to think like them. So that's why the Latina Golfers has been so successful, because I don't have that golf background. That's not in there. So all I can do is relate to my community the way I always relate to my community. And you know what? They love it and they want to come. They are just waiting for somebody to say, come, join us, because we are going to go and join you. I mean, we have that experience. That's what happened to you, and it's what's happened to me.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And Jorge, anything you want to add on the municipal golf as a means to build a more just or equitable society?
You know, obviously, I think we're all concerned about affordability. So we have access, but once we get access, you know, what about affordability? At the County of Los Angeles, I think we're in very good shape on junior green fees. They have not gone up a penny in over 20 years. I do have a lot of concern in terms of serving underserved communities in terms of range ball pricing. I mean, that's a first point where we introduce the game. I can tell you in Los Angeles, I don't know about your cities, 60 balls is going for about $16, $17. How does a child who lunches on a subsidized program pay for that? It's not possible. And, you know, post-pandemic and even pre-pandemic, the ranges are so busy that once again, operators are, sadly, it breaks my heart if they're not, many of them are not, you know, helping to subsidize us. We do have great programs, some scholarship programs through the Southern California Golf Association and others, but range pricing is something that we need to allow kids to hit range balls for absolutely as cheap as possible, if not free, to the best of our ability.
Oh, thank you. That's great. So before we open it up for questions and close out with a video, anything else the group wants to add?
I think I would be remiss. Jorge and I sit on the boards of the Southern California Golf Association, so we're very proud of that. And also the USGA is in the house, and we both serve on the advocacy committee, so we're very proud of that. So even though I never knew anything about the golf industry, I just kept showing up. After 15 years, now here we are, you know, so I'm very
You're on the menu.
honored.
Mhm.
I'd
Big
like-
time.
I'd like to add one thing. Rachel on the previous panel kept saying this over and over, and I don't have the answer to this. If you guys can help me, I would love it. As I said, in my position, it was very legal. You know, I told you about, we inserted these many programs and community initiatives that operators had to offer at no cost. I am consulting one of the county's golf course operators, and Rachel kept saying over and over and over that she didn't like check the box. I'm with you, Rachel. That's a big deal. And I'm telling this company, okay, it's easy for you to check the box, but you need to do this with purpose, with intent, and with passion. If you have to care about these communities, care about these kids, love these kids. You know, Brittny was talking about some kids just want to be around her. You know, that child is feeling passion, is feeling love. And I don't know how I legally force it on someone. I can't. So I'll take somebody's help. But I will continue hammering away at this company that I am helping about doing things with purpose and intent and with love and compassion. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I that's a really good point that you've made about the balls. And I want to shout out to grant programs like Make Golf Your Thing that have been helpful for organizations like myself to be able to, fill the gaps you know, where they're needed. And we need more organizations to, or grants really, and opportunities to be able to help fill the gaps, because we can't expect everybody to do what's right, you know. And my hope is that thanks to National Links Trust and affording the opportunity for all of us to come into the room and brainstorm and go back with ideas that are going to help us to be better and hopefully help our golf courses to shine and be lights to the other golf courses. Because let's be honest, there's some people that are at golf courses right now that need to be in this room. They're the very people we're talking about, and they're not here. So how are we going to spread this message to them? Well, we're going to implement what we've learned and hopefully go back and be so bright and such an impact in our communities to where they're going to start inquiring, going to be here next year. So I'm just thankful to, you know, organizations like this. But just going back full circle, just I'll end with this. Like I said, I started at 12 years old at Sugar Creek Golf and Tennis Center. I literally was joking the other day with someone because the majority of all the marshals that are there are the same men that were there when I was 12. And that sounds crazy, but when I go to that golf course, I feel like home, and I've always felt like home. And the manager there, Richard Degree, I got to give him a shout out. He's crazy, but I'm gonna give him a shout out. But he loves the kids. There is not a kid that comes on that golf course that does not feel like they belong there. And like you said, you cannot fake that, right? But at the same time, we understand we have to make money. But I know that there's possible ways that you can leverage both and that you can make it a safe space for everyone. And so when we talk about all the wonderful ideas and concepts that we have, I think passion for humanity, passion for people, no matter what they look like, how old they are, is imperative to have. And I think when you do that, even if you mess up, things are going in the right direction.
Yes. This group just dropped the mic, so I'll play a video and then we'll open it up for questions. I know we talked about the Clearview Legacy event, so just wanted to give everybody a visual.
Just having people know about Clearview and the awareness and wanting to support our foundation and making sure that the legacy of Clearview continues on for the next 75 years and beyond. I mean, it's been a bit overwhelming.
Number one, and most importantly, at the age of junior golf, have a lot of fun. In events like this, the tournaments you play, build those relationships, connect, make those friendships, because that's what keeps golf exciting.
We need more young Black people playing golf, and then we need to financially support them when they do play golf.